Hello everyone, how's it going? This is Alpha Core HD Gaming, and here we are playing F1 2016. Yes, I know it's been a very long time since the last video, and I do apologise for that, but we're back now with this career mode. I kind of skipped F1 2015 because I didn't really feel like as a game it was as complete as this one, and I didn't really enjoy playing it either. One of the main things about an F1 game for me is being able to drive as a driver, like as yourself or as a fictional driver, and build the career mode up. And in F1 2015 we didn't have that, and also the car development was kind of just completely put to one side. Whereas on the F1 2016 game there's a lot of emphasis on the car development, so you can obviously go from being a team at the back to being a team at the front. So that really is something that I like to do on these games. You can see here we're just making our driver. We're going to call ourselves Felix, Lopes da Silva. So again, if you've been with my channel for a while, you'll know that I like to make fictional drivers and drive as them during the season. I don't like put myself on the game as such. I'll make someone up. But this is my driver. He's going to be called Felix Lopes da Silva. He's going to be number 23 car. And you can see there we chose to drive as McLaren with Alonso as our teammate.
Hi.
So yeah, if you do want to watch a non-commentated version as well, that is on the channel. I've put that on there, so if you want to watch that without me talking over the video, without me giving my feedback on how the race is going and what I was thinking and things like that, then feel free to go watch the non-commentated one if you just want to listen to the car engines and watch the pure racing. But I put these commentaries on just literally to give people a sense of what I'm thinking in the race and what's going through my mind, and the decisions I make in the race, things like that. So this part of the race I'm not going to basically commentate over the whole thing like blow by blow, but I'll give you sort of like little insights into what I'm thinking. So that was our agent just telling us about our new contract, so it's not really that interesting, that part of the of this game. So we'll be going through this video in certain sessions. So I just want to give you kind of a sense of how we're going to put these videos together. So we're going to have little snippets of each session in these videos and not highlights of the race. Again, if anybody wants to see the full coverage of the race, like the full cut, I will keep that file, and if there's a demand for it I'll put that on YouTube as well, so you can watch the full 57 laps. But these races are going to be 100%. So we're going to go through each session, obviously building up the car and doing all the little practice challenges and things like that, because there's a lot of emphasis on the R&D. So you'll see like the best laps from practice 1, practice 2, practice 3, little bits from that. And in qualifying I'm going to show you each of the qualifying laps, 1, 2 and 3, the best laps we've got, and show you where we qualified. And then obviously during the race I'm going to show you the best highlights of the race, the most interesting parts. But if you want to watch the whole thing, then feel free to let me know, and I can upload the entire race, the full 57 laps, 100% race. So here we are, and this is the first practice session, and you can see we're doing the tyre wear test. These are really important tests in the fact that if you get more points on them, obviously you'll get more R&D points to spend on the car. So it is quite important to do well in these tests. Sometimes it's not possible depending on how well the car's performing. So you'll see we do better or worse depending on the racetrack. But that was just showing us the tyre wear test, and then we kind of did I don't know what the other one was, track acclimatization and things like that. So this is the track acclimatization test, where you've got to obviously hit the checkpoints and try and get as many points as possible whilst going on the lap as quickly as possible as well. So lap time doesn't really matter too much, but you want to kind of keep the pace up, because keeping the pace up gets you the purple through the checkpoints. So at this point in the session, in the weekend, we're not really that bothered about speed. It's more like balance of the car we're bothered about. We want to know that the car is actually quite balanced, and you can see we're having a little bit of trouble because the track is still quite green. So we're on the medium tyres, so again that's less grip, and also the track's green, so it's going to mean that we're a little bit wobbly, a little bit not perfect around these laps. But as long as we can get as many purples as possible, then we're going to get the highest score possible, which is going to mean better points for our development of the car. And going on to that, the reason why I've chosen McLaren is because McLaren is a team that I really do like. I like them as a team, but for the last few years they've been really struggling, especially since the 2015 season, where they went to the Honda engine. And 2016 they did a little bit better, but obviously this year in 2017 they've gone backwards again. So I really want to improve this McLaren car and bring it back up to the standard where it should be, like near the front of the grid. So that's a really exciting part for me about this career mode, is that we're going to get there to the front of the grid, and we're going to be fighting for pole positions and race wins later on and podiums. I'm really looking forward to that. But don't get me wrong, this season's going to be absolutely epic from the off. Even in the first few races, it's going to get feisty, because we're not, even if we're not fighting for the points, there's going to be a teammate battle, and we're not going to lay down and let Fernando Alonso beat us in this teammate battle. So that was practice 1, and as you can see, Fernando finished up in 8th place, and we were just getting used to the car. You can see we did a super soft lap in that session. I think I showed it during the video session, in that session there, and we finished last place, but that means absolutely nothing at this point, because we're still working on the balance of the car and the setup. And yeah, to get the kind of racing to the quality that I think we should be watching on YouTube, that I think in these videos that is a decent quality, then it does take a bit of practice, and obviously getting the setup of the car right, and just getting the practice for the lap times in. Because on F1 2014, I played on Legend mode. That was the last F1 game that I played and put on YouTube. And obviously F1 2016 has a step up to Ultimate mode, which is a little bit harder than the Legend. The lap times from the AI are a little bit faster, but it's not that much of a jump, I don't think. And obviously with enough practice, you can get yourself into quite good lap times and keeping up with the AI. And also, it's probably the most realistic in terms of how fast the cars go, because they're probably going as fast as F1 drivers would go around the track in real life, whereas Legend's a little bit back from that. So you challenge yourself against your teammate, and it's more realistic, I think. But it's really enjoyable at the same time if you do put the practice in and get the lap times. So that was practice 2. I didn't bother showing you it, but you can see we've done a soft time, which has put us up to 18th, so we've improved a little bit. I'm not sure what fuel load I was running, but again, we're still working on balance of the car. We're still trying to get the car to where we want in terms of lap time and how the car feels. Obviously, as the weekend goes on, the lap time will come towards you, because the track's going to get better, especially in qualifying 3 if you get there. But you can see here there's resource points. The engineer came along telling us what we were doing with resource points. In that little screen there that's just gone past, we decided to go with the chassis weight reduction. That's the first thing we're going to do, just to bring the weight of the car down. So you can see that we'd already chosen to do that, and hopefully that part will be on the car for the next race. Obviously it won't be there for the race this time round. So this is practice 3. And what we're doing is we're doing a qualifying sim run. Obviously, on this qualifying sim, you've got to do a fast lap, and then try and do a faster lap, and an even faster lap after that. I think we only managed to do the 1 lap, and then what I'm doing is just showing you that we came into the pits after we did a little bit of run on the medium tyres. So in P3, we actually did just we only managed to get 1 fast lap in on the qualifying sim, and then we tried to go a bit faster on the second lap, but the tyre life wasn't there. The car just isn't quick enough at this point in time to go quick and then quick again and then quicker than that. What we're missing is the track isn't rubbered in, and also the car's just not that quick yet to do those fast times at this point in the weekend. But our lap time around that session was good enough for 5th place, which is quite good. But I don't think some of the other drivers in that session have put in a fast enough lap. So just looking at the resource points we've got here, we've got 77 from that session, because we did a few laps. Obviously, the more laps you do in the practice sessions, if you do more than 10, you'll get the extra points for it. So that's why I went out and did the medium tyres and did more than 10 laps, just to get the extra points for the R&D development. We've just been told by our agent that we've got a driver rivalry, so it's going to be our teammate Alonso. Basically, our goal is to beat him in every session and make sure that we stay ahead of Alonso, and just beat him in the rivalry.
I'm just passing on your qualifying goals for this weekend.
So we just got a qualifying goal from our agent, who's saying that we've got to qualify 13th or higher, which it's going to be possible. I think in the qualifying we're going to be quite good. Also, we've got to beat Alonso. So as the sessions have been going on, we've kind of been bringing ourselves closer to Fernando.
But you still need to be quick in a straight line. Is that a fair layman's appraisal?
So what they're explaining here is that it's pretty much exactly how it is. Anthony Davison and David Croft are explaining that in this track you need to be fast through the high-speed corners, which is that left-right chicane and the right and a couple of right-handers at the end. But you've also got to have really good traction and some decent straight line speed. The straight line speed, especially for down here, there's 2 straights and there's also a back straight as well. So you've got to have good straight line speed, but you've also got to have good direction change because there's quite a few chicanes on this track. So coming down to turn 1 in qualifying 1, you take it in 4th gear, you've got to clip the inside curve and then let it run out to the outside. Not too much, you see we've got a little bit of wheel spin there. Open the DRS and then you're looking for the 100 metres board here, all the way down to 2nd gear. A little bit of a lockup we got there. You kind of keep the car to the right because it's going to sweep to the left in 3rd gear and then 4th. And then you flat out for this next corner, so you've got it absolutely flat. You're trying this next corner to keep as much speed as possible, so we go down to 3rd, clip the apex on the inside, and then get on the power as early as possible without planting your car in the right hand wall over there. So you're coming down to this next corner, which is quite difficult actually, because if you get too much to the inside curve, then the car goes launching off onto the left hand side and you lose traction. Also coming out that corner, you've got to shift up to 5th just to get some traction as you're coming down this straight. So this is the best car on the track, I think. You shift down to 5th gear, get the inside curve, accelerating all the way to the right, and you've got a flat out straight down here. So you need a decent top speed and a quite low drag. And again, you turn into the right hand corner. This is quite a high speed corner. Same with the next one. You're trying to take as much speed as possible through these next 2 corners before running out a little bit to the wide on the left, and then down to 2nd gear for the final penultimate corner. And a very difficult corner coming up, probably the most difficult on the track. You're trying to keep the power down, but also not lose the back end coming out the final corner. Heading towards the line in qualifying 1 hour lap time was a 1:27.2, which was good enough to get us through to the next session. So I don't think we went out again. We did try to improve, as you can see, but I don't think we could improve it. It was the same story as in practice. We weren't able to improve because basically we just didn't have the tyre life and the car underneath us to improve as much. I mean, you can see we're a little bit up, but towards the end of the lap we kind of I think we lost a little bit of time. I may be wrong. I may be wrong. We may be going round again and improve on the lap time, but we'll see. So we're a little bit up. It may be that we go around again. I cannot remember. So we're heading down to this chicane here. You see, we're very marginal on how close we are to the other time, but we got a better run out of that corner. So you can see, because we got better traction, we're gaining time all the way down this straight. We're coming up to the left-right chicane. We clip that nicely, and a nice exit as well. A little bit over the curbs, but we're nearly 1.5 tenths up. We're losing a bit more time coming down here, as you can see, because we're on the high-speed section. But yeah, we went round again because I think I thought there was more time in this lap. So we're coming into the final set of corners, and you see we're getting absolutely massive time, but we lock up a little bit, so we lost it. We were about 4 tenths up there, and we're coming towards the line, and yeah, we do improve. So you can see the track is getting better. A 1:26.9, so that's definitely it. I don't think we'll be doing another lap. I think that's the first time we've been into the 1:26 all weekend, and it was good enough for 13th place. You can see we've already, for 15th place. You see we're within a tenth of Alonso now, so we're actually catching up to him quite a lot. And that got us through just about, probably quite a bit actually. I didn't see how much we got through by, but I think it was more than, yeah, it was quite a bit. We were through by about 7 tenths. So into qualifying 2, the track is now ramping up, and we're going for our run. I would expect to shave some more time off that 1:26 and go a little bit quicker this time round. I think the car will look a lot more settled around this lap, and you'll see that as we go on through the lap, how settled the car's looking compared to Q1. We're just able to put the power down more and get better exits from corners and take more speed through corners and things like that, because there's more grip. So in terms of lap time, we're only 2 tenths off Hamilton in the first sector. Well, 2.28, so nearly 3 tenths, but we're still quite close. And we're heading towards the middle sector now. Down to 3rd gear, trying not to take too much of that inside curve. Shifting up to 4th and then 5th, just trying to keep the back end of the car stable. Heading down this little straight, it's sort of a curving straight, and it opens out into the left-right chicane now. Down to 5th. We run a little bit wide, but we recover it for the second part of the corner. Got a decent exit there. Heading down towards the final corners. Into third gear. Took that quite nicely. Got the power down early on. Shift down to fourth. Ran a little bit wide, but we've got the power down still. Down to second. We're turning beautifully for that one. Heading towards the final corner now. Getting the power on in fourth gear. Absolutely no dramas. Heading towards the line now. Sixth gear, seventh gear. What time's it going to be? It's a 1 minute 26.7, so we shaved another 2 tenths off the lap time. And I think that might be enough to get us through. So we do go for another run, but we don't improve. And we've now jumped ahead of Alonso. I'm not quite sure what his time was, but we've jumped ahead of Alonso in Q2. And we're now on to qualifying 3. This is our final lap where the car's got its lowest fuel load. You can see we've only put 2 laps of fuel in the car. And we're going to absolutely go for it now. This is where the track's at its best, and we should be improving our time to a lot better than we did in Q2. So you'll see when the first sector comes, we were at 29.2 in qualifying 2. So we're hoping to do a decent time, in a better time than that in qualifying 3. Absolutely committed through this lap. See, wheels on the curb there. It's a 29 dead, so it's 29.075, so we gained another 10.5. We run a little bit wide. We've managed to hold on to it around that corner though, whilst keeping the power down. We take 2 stabs at the apex here, you'll see, with the wheel. We turn in, we get the power down, 4th and then 5th. Absolutely close to the wall there, right to the wall. Heading down to the fast chicane. Let's see if we can nail it. Down to 5th. Beautifully nailed on the left and on the right. We've got a good run down this straight now. We've got that turned in. We're a little bit wide though, so we couldn't get the power down as quickly as we wanted, and we run a little bit wide around here as well. You see, we're just over the curbs. But can we recover it through the final 2 corners? A little bit lazy on the apex, but we get turned in. Final corner, no dramas coming out of here. DRS is open, we're heading towards the line. And we're heading towards the finish line now, and it's a 1:26.265. So we've improved by another half a second in qualifying 3. It's good enough for 9th place, but we've out-qualified Alonso. We're only 1.4 seconds off the leaders, but that's probably the best we could do. Even if we improve by 2 tenths, it's only going to get us up to 7th. So you see there, just showing that the AI is on ultimate, and that's our sector times there. Just showing the points we got from qualifying. The thing is, before this race, I'll just quickly mention, in qualifying 2, because we tried to go out and do more than 1 lap, we kind of shot ourselves in the foot a little bit, because our tyres had 3 laps of life taken out of them, because we tried 3 laps to try and get the fastest lap time in qualifying 2. I shouldn't have done that. Basically, I should have just left it at the 1 lap. But in qualifying 2, we tried to go faster, which meant that our fastest lap time was set on tyres that are basically 3 or 4 laps old. Whereas Alonso, because he didn't get into qualifying 3, he's going to have choice of tyres in this race as our teammate. So he's got a bit of a better strategy choice than us. Whereas we're going to start the race on used super soft tyres.
Hello, I just wanted to pass on the team's expectations for this race. Good luck.
So this might look quite reasonable, 11th place, but what you got to remember is that we've out-qualified this car. This car we didn't expect to be so high up on the grid, and there is faster cars around us, especially in a straight line. So you're talking like the Force Indias, the Toro Rossos, cars like that, and also the Williams. So we've got 3 different teams with that's like 6 cars that could possibly get past us, and also then you've got the Ferraris, the Mercedes, the Red Bulls, who are going to be running like top 6 anyway.
They say that even a second is an eternity in Formula 1, so going 4 winter months with no racing
I do actually quite like these intros as well. So the fact that Anthony Davidson and David Croft are doing the intros and things like that, it brings a little bit of realism to the weekend as well. I did think on the replay mode they could have like a proper commentary, but that's maybe a little bit too much to ask, considering that this is quite good having this on the race anyway.
Proximity of the barriers makes accidents inevitable, and recent history shows us that a safety car is not at all out of the question. I'm joined today in the commentary box, as I will be throughout this season, by a great racing driver, former F1 competitor, man who was world champion once upon a time as well.
I just love the build up for these races. It's so good.
Anthony Davidson. And tell me, Here we are, first Grand Prix of the season.
So this is our first race of the season. It's Australia. I've already recorded Bahrain. What I'm hoping to do is I'm really hoping to get a race out every 2 weeks. So the Bahrain race, I released this one on Sunday. This Australia race, this Sunday just gone. So I'm hoping that in a week's time or so, not this Sunday, the one after, I'll be able to put the Bahrain race on. Because the way it works is that I need a lot of practice to get these races out, and also it takes time to record them. So I'm hoping to put Bahrain out, not this Sunday coming, the next one. And then 2 weeks after that, I'm going to put the next race out, which I think is China. And then 2 weeks after that, the next race after that, which is, I think, Russia. So I'm aiming at every 2 weeks or so. Obviously, I'm going to hope to put out a commentated version and a non-commentated version as well. Just let me know what you think of this. Let me know if you're enjoying it, and if you want me to put more of them out in different. If you want me to, like, for example, put the full race cut onto YouTube as well. So there we are. We've out-qualified Alonso, but for some reason there's been some penalties, and Alonso's going to start 9th. So that he's got a choice of tyres, and he's starting 9th, which is a bit weird, but okay.
And Harry Anto, Marcus Ericsson, and Felipe Nasser starts from the back of the grid. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
So that's the formation lap done. I've not bothered showing you it because it was pretty much just like no dramas formation lap, and we're rolling up to the grid for the start of this race. As you can see, we're in 8th place, so we've jumped a position as well. We were in 9th, Alonso's in 9th now, and we're in 8th. We've got 2 fast Williams in front of us. We've got a couple of Toro Rossos and Force Indias behind us. So it's going to be quite a race if we're going to stay in the top 10. We've also got the Haas cars as well, which are very quick in a straight line. So the 5 lights, and we're away. It's not the best of starts. We got quite a bit of wheel spin, as you can see. We kind of veered off to the right a bit. But as we come into the first corner, I actually thought I was going to die here because you can see the cars jumping over the curb. Ricardo gets it all wrong. We have to avoid Ricardo. We go through the traffic and we end up in 4th place. So we've made quite a good start. I thought that we were going to end up crashing and losing part of the wing, but we've made it to 4th place. And yeah, the goal here is really to kind of keep ourselves in the top 10. That's my goal for this race, and also to keep ahead of Alonso. Because I know the car that's underneath me isn't really going to be obviously capable of challenging these guys in front of us, but we just want to keep them from going too far into distance and just hopefully just get ourselves a decent result in this first race. Obviously, as they say in the race introduction, finishing the race is the most important thing in the first race, because there might be cars that drop out and there might be incidents and safety cars and things like that. So our main goal in this race is to just stay in the top 10 and hopefully finish this race without any dramas. And stay ahead of our teammate. If we don't finish top 10, then fair enough, but we want to finish ahead of Fernando. That's the next goal. So lap 1, we've got away quite well. We're in 4th place. We've got Raikkonen already bearing down us. As you can, if you look in the left mirror there, you can see he's kind of closing up to us, and we've got a heavy car. As I said, our tyres are a bit worn already, so we're going to be going quite careful, and we're not sure how much speed we can take through all these corners, because it's the first time since qualifying that we've run a fully heavy car. And yeah, it's going to be quite a task to keep Raikkonen behind us. So you'll see that I do let some of these drivers pass. I don't bother fighting it too hard because there's no point, because I'll lose even more time if I do. Whereas you'll see other times where I think the driver I'm up against, I should fight them, so I won't let the position go too easily, which is how you'd expect really. Because if I can fight for the position, I will. But if there's no point, then I'll let them go past. And a little bit of a lock up there, which lets us run wide. Raikkonen is nosing around the back of our car. He's looking for a way through. He hasn't found it yet, but it's only a matter of time. He's dragging along a car behind him, and we're quite struggling quite heavily already because of the fuel load and the tyres that have been a bit worn, the car being underpowered, and you can see the gap we've already got between us and Hamilton. I think Raikkonen's just going to absolutely blast past us on this straight, and he's probably going to take the car that's with him straight past us as well. So even though we've got a decent exit, you can see he's just got the speed. We're going to show him the outside, say, okay Raikkonen, if you want to go past, you can have the outside. He doesn't take it yet, but he says it's only a matter of time before he has a run at us. And you can see our teammate in the mini-map, he's already quite a way back. But he's running a different strategy to us. our strategy on this race, I think, is going to be super softs and then 2 sets of softs. I think that's the strategy, but I can't remember, so we'll see what happens. So we're heading down the straight. Raikkonen's quite a way back, as you can see, and there's already a gap to Hamilton, 131.5 from us. DRS has now been enabled, so that's going to help Raikkonen rather than us, because Raikkonen's within that second right now. And we're just going to... It's just a matter of time before he passes us. See, we just can't get the power down. We're understeering quite a lot, so we haven't got the grip. We're understeering and just sliding off the track. I'm having to be really careful at this point because I just don't want to lose the car in the early parts of the race. I'm just fully aware that if we get through these first few laps, the car's going to lighten up a bit and we'll be able to fight a little bit more, but there's no point. I'm not even actually fighting Raikkonen at this point. I'm just trying to keep the car on the track, and if Raikkonen gets past us, he gets past us. So he's going to have a look again. He doesn't go. So we're going quite slowly through these corners as well, so it's just a heavy car. We show Raikkonen the outside again and say, if you want to go around, you're going to go around us the long way. And we shut the door on him actually because he wasn't close enough alongside, so there was no point in giving him any more room. It'll probably be this next straight where he gets DRS and goes past us, I think. So onto the straight. We got a decent exit. It wasn't too bad. You can see Hamilton's doing a 129.9. We're doing a 131.4. So there's about a second and a half between us at this point in time. But we're on the fastest tyre. And there was a second and a half between us in qualifying as well. So that's about right. Raikkonen's got a good run. He's going to just clean up the inside of us here. He should get this one done now. We shouldn't really have too many dramas. So we let him take the position and slot in behind him. We've got Daniel Ricciardo in another fast car behind us in the Red Bull. So we skip forward to later in lap 4, I think it is. This is a little bit later at the end of the lap. Ricciardo goes down the inside. Again, we had to wait a little bit for Ricciardo to go through. Decided just to let him go. Now we've got Bottas sniffing around behind us. He's going to be looking for a move soon. And I expect that Williams with the power. It's actually another lap's gone by and he still hasn't got past. On lap 5 now, I switched to lead mix because Bottas is so close. It's just pointless even trying to defend. We're wasting our time and we're making our race longer by defending against him. We decided to just slot in behind him and see what happens. Use a bit of his slipstream and get us a bit of speed down the straight. And now we've got another Ferrari sniffing behind us. It's Sebastian Vettel. Get a little bit of a wobble coming out that corner. We're now on lap 7. The tyres aren't looking good. This time we just let him go past. As you can see, we brake very early for that corner and let Vettel just go straight through. There's no point fighting him because he's just so much quicker and you were losing lap time just by fighting. Got Nico Hülkenberg now, who's got that mighty Force India there with the Mercedes engine in the back. We run wide, which means we have to come off the throttle, which is going to let Hülkenberg straight past. Again, I think he's a car we could fight a little bit, but there's not much point at this point in the race. What we want to do is sit behind him and follow his slipstream. So that's what we did. We sat behind him. You can see we kept right up behind him for this next lap. But unfortunately, I think he locks up. He goes off the track here. And we were very lucky not to lose part of the front wing. But then he comes back across the track, hits us. And as we come on the track, Sainz goes through. So we've got Sainz and Hülkenberg have got through. We've lost 2 positions in one corner there. And Sainz tries to go past Hülkenberg. We clip the wall. We see both of them, so we decide, right, we're going to have both of yous. Go for a run down the straight, and Sainz shuts the door on us, and that's that. Basically, Sainz decides I'm going to cut you off, and we get a warning for it, which I don't know how that works, but yeah, we tried to go through, and we got to lap 10 before we decided that's enough. We're gonna pit in and change these tyres. Just got down to speed in time for that for the pit lane line, speed limiter. So we're heading in. We get the soft tyres on. we're heading out for the pit lane just to see where we're going to come out on this track. Alonso still hasn't pitted because I think he started on the soft tyres, so he's going to go through now. So actually he started on the super softs, but they're a brand new set of super softs. So we should be able to pass him at this point in the race because he's on a very worn set of super softs. So we're going to get a nice little run on him through this next set of corners. We've got Verline just ahead of him. This is the first battle of the teammates in the race. We're going to just take it nice and gently up the inside there and take the position from him and hopefully pull away from him a little bit. Heading down towards the chicane, we take a little bit less speed than we should have done there, probably. Got a very good run on Verline though, and we've got so much grip coming to this corner, we just decided to go for the move and just straight up the inside. A little bit of a lock up, you can see, perfectly taken the position from him. At this point in the race, we're on the better tyre and we should be going quite fast. So you see that Jolyon Palmer's out of the race and we brake quite hard, but then Magnussen brakes even harder and we have to avoid him. The virtual safety car comes out. Now this next part of the race was quite weird because the virtual safety car comes out, and obviously I've not done any races on F1 2016 before. This is the first one I've done, and it says do not exceed delta pace, do not overtake any cars. And you can see here that Ricciardo's ghosting at this point, and Magnussen goes past him. We didn't realise we could go past him, so we're following Ricciardo. You can see the delta time is going up, and I'm just thinking, what's going on here? We can't. It says no overtaking, and by the time I realised that I can go past Ricciardo because he's ghosting, then we've lost way too much time. So you'll see here, Ricciardo is now moving again, and he's still going very, very, very slow. So we've nearly lost 6 seconds, and we've gone past him. We've lost 6 seconds. We're right in the back of Magnussen. That's the first part of the race where we've really been screwed over by the safety car. We did get a little bit screwed over by Hulkenberg crashing into us, but what can you do? Hulkenberg going slow, knocking up on us, hitting the back of him. Sorry, he didn't crash into us. So we're going again. We lost nearly 6 seconds in that virtual safety car period, which I wasn't happy about. It lost us a lot of time, and it's put Alonso on the back of us. So Alonso's basically, we cleared Alonso by quite a lot of seconds, and he's now on the back of us again with his pit stop coming up, which has really favoured him. So it's taken us a few more laps, and we've now caught up with Magnussen, and we're going to try and get past Magnussen as quickly as possible because our tyres are still quite fresh, only 7 laps old, and they're a set of soft tyres. And we've got quite a good run coming out of here. So we did the same move we did on Alonso, just nice and gently take that position from him into that corner. We've lost him a bit of time to Gutierrez, but that's our next target. You can see we're running quite low on fuel. We've been running rich mix for quite a while. We get a nice entry to that corner and a very good exit. It's got a lot of speed on Gutierrez. He's shown us the outside, so we're going to take it all the way around the outside. Not sure if he's still there, so I didn't turn in too much. And now we're up to 10th place. So moving on to lap 21, our tyre stint's coming. We're halfway through it, I think now. We've cleared a few more cars, but we've got Grosjean right behind us. So again, we're just going to let him through because he's on a much faster tyre, and we're going to lose time by fighting with him. So we let Grosjean through. You can see how much more grip he's got at this point in the race. We're coming towards the end of the life of these tyres now. We've been on them for 16 laps. We've got Perez in that fast Force India there looking at us. Yeah, he just sails down the outside. There's no chance we can defend that. But then he's quite slow off the apex, so we've got to wait ourselves to get the power down, which isn't very helpful. So you see there, we kind of just got the entry to that corner all wrong, but we're on lap 29 now, so we've moved forward a little bit more. Interestingly, we're still ahead of Ricciardo, but obviously he's on the super soft tyres now, so he's on, again, a different strategy to us. And there you go, he goes sailing through, and we've got a couple more laps on these tyres yet before we can change them. So now we've got Hulkenberg, who we've been fighting all race. He's kind of coming up behind us now. And once again, look at the straight line speed he's got. Straight past us, we've got no chance of defending that. We're just trying to keep up with him for the next part of the straight. We're just trying to conserve the tyres at this point because there's no point trying to fight too much. Now we're coming to the pits for our next stop. I did intend just to have one more stop and go on the soft tyres at the end, but you'll see that things change a little bit in the race, so we have to change the strategy a little bit. So into the pit box, quite a quick stop from McLaren there, 2.2 seconds, so it's a decent stop. Alonso, as you can see, has gone through, so his strategy has favoured him, and he's got ahead of us. There's 34 laps, so we've got 34 laps, there's 24 to go, including this one, but we're probably going to be a lap down by the end, so we're not planning to go to the end, so we can be -1 lap of fuel if we want to be. So you can see Gutierrez got past us, but we're on a new fresh set of tyres, and obviously his tyres are going to be quite old at this point, and he's going to need to pit again. So Alonso's in the pits, we're right on the back of Gutierrez. This should be quite an easy pass in the end. Getting the DRS open, this is for 13th place. Have to go down to third to get the turn in. A little bit of a lock up on the front right there as well as we turned in. You see Ricciardo's gone for a different strategy altogether. He's gone for medium tyres and he's gone. We're not even going to bother trying to race him. You see a few of the runners ahead of us I think went for different strategies, and you can see now on lap 39 we're getting blue flags. Whoever that is taking quite a while to get past Hamilton. So we're currently in 11th place and getting passed by another blue flag here. So that's Raikkonen in second place going through. At this point we're just trying to conserve the tyres to the end because our plan was to go to the end, so we're trying to conserve the tyres a little bit and get some fuel back. Because we want to be able to fight at the end of the race, we don't want to be a sitting duck. Because there's quite a few cars that are on a different strategy, and say we got a little bit scruffy off that curb, which has allowed Massa a chance to pass us. Again, we're still saving fuel, so there's not really much we can do about that. We just want to try and sit with Massa for the next couple of laps if we can. Hopefully he can take us a bit down the road. And hopefully these guys are going to pit against. There goes Kvyat in his Toro Rosso. He locks up, we switch back to the inside and get the position back. But I think he still fights us down this straight, so even though we've taken the position back, he's got the DRS again. He hits us in the back of the car, and you can see there that little nudge was him hitting them back, and he tried to go on the outside. We didn't let him through. But later on, he's just got more pace. He has more pace than us, so he goes flying through. You can see Alonso's now catching us, and he's on the super soft tyres, I think. He's either on the super softs or the softs. So no, he's on the softs. There you go. So I can see that on the indicator on the left. He's on the soft tyres. So we decide to pit in again and go on super soft to see if we can catch him at the end, because I don't know if we could have fought Alonso off because he was quicker on the soft tyres. He had newer soft tyres as well, because his strategy was super soft, and then soft. So it kind of meant that we had to pit earlier than Alonso, so our tyres were older. So I thought, well, let's just pit again and go for the super soft to see if we can catch him. Unfortunately, it wasn't to be. We just didn't have the pace. Alonso's pace on the soft was so good. You can see he's 19 seconds up the road. But on lap 52, we kind of got a bit of a saving grace in that Fernando Alonso retired from the race. So that was actually just after he'd set the fastest first sector of the race for himself. So he just set his fastest first sector and then retired. And at this point, we just had 6 laps to go or so, and we just wanted to nurse the car at the end. You can see that we weren't going to catch Kvyat, he's too far ahead, and whoever's behind us, we weren't going to get caught by them, so we just decided to cruise to the end, and the last few laps will show you that. We go to lap 57 now, last lap of the race, and that's us getting lapped by a Williams, Bottas, and so we're coming up to the final few corners. I think we run out of fuel. You can see we're on minus 1.01 laps, but I think we run out. So we slow down, second gear. We're actually under the limit, so it's 0.99, but I think you'll hear the engine starts to run out of fuel. 13th place. Probably if we'd done one less pit stop, we could have finished a bit closer to the points, but I don't think 11th was even possible. I think we were just too slow. in terms of strategy. But we'll improve that in the next race and see if we can get a bit closer to the points, a bit closer to 11th place. Hamilton won the race, so that's Mercedes celebrating about the win, and there's Hamilton celebrating the win. We're just going to knuckle down and try and get this car improved and hopefully move up the grid and just start getting points, and then by the end of the season my aim is to get in the podium and things like that. But yeah, we finished quite a way back, but what can be expected from the first race? It was a learning process, and yeah, then all season long's going to be an epic battle between us and Alonso. I think our main goal is to beat him. There we are, celebrating on the podium. The top three drivers: Hamilton, Raikkonen, and Verstappen. So there you go. We finished the lap down. We were actually quite quick in terms of our fastest lap in the end, though. So we were quite competitive, but that was on the super soft tyres, I think. So we beat Alonso on fastest lap, so I'm happy with that. But yeah, we want to be finishing less than a lap down, so that our next goal is to get closer to the top 10 in terms of like ultimate race time. So obviously with that result, Alonso is now below us in the championship, so that's a good start to us. We've beaten Alonso in terms of rivalry in the first race. We didn't achieve 11th place though, so that means that we're going to be the team aren't going to be too happy with us. But I don't think it was possible. I think if we qualify well, then our strategy in the race is compromised. Whereas if we don't qualify well and we get a choice of tyres, then we've got a better chance in the race. But I'd really rather qualify better in every race than aim for a race strategy that's going to get me in the top 10. Because I'd prefer to qualify higher and just beat Alonso in qualifying. Because say the car will get better and we eventually will get points. And obviously in races things like safety cars can happen and things like that. You see there we beat Alonso in terms of fastest lap. Say we failed our objective of 11th place or higher. But also we beat Fernando Alonso, so the drive position in the rivalry is just staying pretty much the same. This is just introducing career score, so you can see that it's giving you points for all the stuff we've done. So total points per practice session, qualifying session, the race session. We didn't do any flashbacks. I don't understand where it says penalty-free weekend fail, because I didn't get any penalties all weekend. We did get some modifiers, team modifiers, difficulty modifiers, so we got a bit of points for that. But yeah, if you did like this video, then obviously be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you're new. The next race will be out in a couple of weeks. As I said, it'll be not this Sunday, the one after. But thanks for watching, people, and bye bye.